I'll be honest with you, it's cold in New York City. It's freezing. I had my winter jacket back out.
Really.
But it's toasty in here as we prepare for the friendliest segment in all of sports. Oh, but Wildes, all I read about is coverage of the NBA is too negative. Well, it is. Well, be the change you want to see in the world, okay? Why don't you send a nice tweet? Here's a segment filled with compliments. And usually, we have to find some flaw in the Hill. Say, you're wrong. But maybe this time, you're just satisfied with the guy and where he is on the Hill and just want to highlight some of his accomplishments and growth as he's led his team to the 2 seed. Not saying I'm going to do that, but if you did, that's within the realm of the format of King of the Hill.
Thanks, KW. All right, so listen. Once the playoffs start, everyone who's not in the playoffs is off the Hill, and it's just amongst guys in the playoffs. So this is our last chance to take a look at the entire league. So I figured, as a capstone to the regular season, we will quick look at the Hill going into this regular season. The preseason Hill looked like this. If we can show it, please. We don't have to go through everyone, but Jokic obviously on top. Luka was a Mav back then. Joel Embiid still played a lot. He was a third-row guy. LeBron and Steph fresh off the Olympics. A real question, Tatum Brown, 1A, 1B, 1B, 1A. Who knows?
Was really low.
Right. So, but that was post-Olympics. He couldn't even get any burn. Steve Kerr's like, we don't need you. So that's what it looked like going into this season. That's 7 rows. This season's so many great performances. We expanded it to 8 rows. 8th row. End of the 2025 season Hill. Dame, Jimmy Butler, Jamal Murray, I think their stock all took a hit this year. Dame was playing well, but again, it's this obviously not his fault, but the blood clot knocks him out. It's a year that the Bucks didn't look like great contenders. Jimmy's saga in Miami, maybe I was more bothered by than others. Ja's health a major concern.
He's pretty good. I mean, I'm not doing Jimmy, and I don't mean to interrupt the Hill so early.
No, please.
What is the Warriors' record with Jimmy?
The Warriors' record with Jimmy is excellent. For me, he was the best player on a team that was a consistent contender in the Eastern Conference. He then lit it on fire, I think, and we'll see if playoff Jimmy exists this year. Okay. To me, his stock took a bit of a hit. Darius Garland, Trae Young, Bam Adebayo, Domantas Sabonis maybe could have made the Hill last year at the beginning of the year. If it was 8 rows, it wasn't. So now to the 7th row. First, listen, obviously Joel Embiid drops significantly. I don't know where to put him. I know that everyone above him, if you offered me Embiid for that player straight up in a trade, I'd probably have to say no because of the contract and the injury concerns. Kyrie, it's purely about the injury, but the injury happened. Devin Booker, I don't know how anyone on the Suns can be stock improved by this year. Paolo, the Hill saw this coming. Draymond, listen, I don't think he's Defensive Player of the Year. I think that it's a bit of a propaganda campaign to get him that award. I think it's Evan Mobley, but he has been great defensively. Yep. Triple J has been the one consistency for the Grizzlies, who are, again, could end up being the 4 seed. And Jalen Williams, to me, was shocking how good he's been as the second best player on the league's best team. Row 6. All right, Jaylen Brown drops just a tiny bit. He drops 1 row because maybe we were on a bit of a Jaylen Brown post-finals MVP sugar high. Plus, he hasn't been quite as efficient this year. He hasn't, Tatum has clearly risen a level, and Jaylen Brown has stayed the same. He dropped just a bit. Cat, I think, has really, I don't know that he's been the best player on the Knicks, but because of Jalen's injury, he's been maybe the most consistent player. Tyrese Halliburton, after a slow start to the year, has been brilliant. Kawhi Leonard, man, if his start of the year was so slow and missed so much time, I couldn't put him higher. Since March, he deserves to be higher. He's been 25-7 on great efficiency. Evan Mobley moves up, and I got to tell you, I didn't think James Harden was going to be a row 6 or higher guy again in his career. Again, row 6 and above are the top 21 guys in the league. James Harden moves up. Now to the top 15. Brew, I think Wemby's got to stay where he was. I think that's fair. Like the injury, that they weren't winning. He was going to be Defensive Player of the Year. Anthony Davis, I think, also stays where he was. brilliant when he's played. The injury popped up again. Again, nobody blames you for being traded for Luka, but he stays where he is. Jalen Brunson drops just a touch. Jalen Brunson, remember, he burst into club superstar, was on some MVP ballots. He hasn't been quite that level this year. And Kevin Durant, even if he hadn't gotten hurt, the Suns were maybe going to miss the playoffs. Right. The numbers are there. He's about to be on another new team. He drops a touch. And Alperen Şengün, if you notice, now, you could argue another Rocket should be on row 8, but I couldn't really make the argument for, Amen Thompson or Jalen Green over Sabonis maybe, but he's the only guaranteed all-star on his team. They are the 2 seed. He gets a top 15 spot after this season.
What a run.
Row 4.
He's nice.
Luka drops purely injury-related. You know what? Let me rephrase. Injury plus the fact that post-injury he has not instantly gone back to what we know he is. I still think Luka is a top 3 player in the league, but right now because of the injury and because we're yet to see that pre-injury form he drops, Anthony Edwards has been awesome. It's less about what he hasn't done and more about what other guys have done to see him dropping. Donovan is a tough one because I feel like he sacrificed his numbers for the sake of the team. And Cade Cunningham, man, who's going to fight his way onto all the All-NBA ballots.
Being first team.
Right. He could fight that final first team All-NBA spot is open. I think right now with what he's done with the Pistons, fringe top 10 is fair. Now to your top 6. Jason Tatum moves up. He has to. LeBron and Steph. I think that final first team All-NBA spot, after obviously Tatum, Giannis, SGA, and Jokic, you can make a legitimate argument for Donovan, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, or Steph. Tie go to the 2 older legends and the 2 guys on teams that I believe have the best chance to win a championship over Ant and Donovan Mitchell. And then your top 2 rows, row 2, really no surprises here, I don't think. Giannis and SGA. SGA would have been very surprising coming into this year that I would have SGA that high, but he's going to win league MVP. And the best player in the world, who oddly is now on an interim head coach, Nikola Jokic, maintains his position atop the hill. Brew?
Wow.
It's not a bad mountain.
Very fair.
Yeah, I think it's a solid mountain. Now, I'm not going to go the Kevin Wildes route and just throw out a bunch of bouquets at you.
Okay.
It's a somewhat of a minor difference that, honestly, I'm not sure you're going to disagree much with, if at all. I am switching Luka and Anthony Edwards, with LeBron and Steph, because I still believe Luka is the Lakers' best player, with all due respect to LeBron and how well he's playing at 40. And he's the reason, him getting there really made them a championship contender. And you see the offense, the way they play off of him, the things he's opened up on that end of the floor. I think it's because of Luka. What's he averaging? 30, 29, 8, and 7 as a Laker. And so,
that's crazy. Those are his Laker averages?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Or 29, 8, and 7 for the last month and a half. Okay. I think it's 26 or I think it's 27.
It's still that's crazy.
And he hasn't
those
even
are his
been
numbers,
at his best.
and it feels like he hasn't played that well.
And here's the other thing, and obviously LeBron has a tremendous playoff resume, but he's 40. Luka is phenomenal in the playoffs.
Yes.
Like, we saw him kill Kawhi and Paul George at the height of their powers.
Yes.
And so I'm going to put Luka. And then Ant is not only the great offense, 29 points a game the last couple months,
but a great
they've
defender.
won 14 of their last 17, and he is a fantastic defender. He really is at that end. And Steph, obviously people know I love Steph. He just scored 3 points. So I gotta put
in a game
Luka and Ant above Steph. And
was
LeBron.
The game called short? Like, was the power outage a full game?
It was a full
if I had remembered that, I maybe wouldn't have had row 3 points.
But no, Steph's had a great year, obviously, too. But beginning of the season, before they got Jimmy,
correct,
he was really good, but not
He was 22 a game, and they were a game below 500. And then he has been brilliant since the addition of Jimmy Butler, and the team's been unbelievable. That's fair. Listen, I think Luka, I know folks might be annoyed by this. The only two guys in the league that I would take over Luka are Joker and Giannis. I think Luka's better than SGA. I think Luka's better than Jason Tatum. Wildes doesn't like the Jason Tatum piece.
No, they played. They
played one-on-one? That's what happened?
One guy was playing one-on-one, to be honest with you. One guy was playing team basketball. Because it can't just be about who I think is better. SGA's played the best of anyone in the league this year. Tatum's been awesome. His team's been awesome. And so, go ahead.
And just on that note, and we're not going to explore it yet, but it'll just be interesting. It's something for all of us to watch. If the Celtics win it again, and Tatum is Finals MVP, let's think he should be able to get it. Where are we going to put him? Like, it's going to be interesting.
You mean historically?
No, just in terms of the league right now.
Right where he is. Fourth or fifth best player.
If he's phenomenal, now he has to have a great run. But I don't think he's better than. I'm kind of with you on right now where he ranks.
I think he might be better than Shea, even though Shea's going to win MVP.
Well, that's possible, but we just have to. He is underrated. I think. I do think he's under.
If he wins,
appreciated
3 finals, and he will look around at the previous generation, and be like, all right, Steph, you got a bunch of rings. LeBron, you've got a bunch of rings, and his contemporaries either have 0 or 1, and he has 2 already.
First team to repeat in 7 years or so?
I get all that. If I may just pump the brakes a tiny bit on Wildes' thought process here. This is exactly what the thought exercise and what you were saying and doing when the Bucks were the defending champs, when the Nuggets were the defending champs, about their 2 best players who at that time both were 2-time MVPs. And you know what I mean? And those guys did. So I understand all of these guys, everyone on the Hill. If we can just pull the Hill back up real quick before we do Wildes' thing where he just says the Hill's awesome.
You don't know.
Every single guy on basically the top 4 rows. If we play the what if that team wins the title this year game?
This will be a back-to-back.
No, but
in his third finals appearance.
Okay, got it.
And leading that team in points, rebounds, assists.
I understand all that. The point I'm making is this. If Cade Cunningham wins the title this year, what does it mean for him?
They're not winning.
Okay, that's fine.
They're not winning.
All right, if Donovan Mitchell, who is the 1 seed, and I know you care about seeding, if Donovan Mitchell wins the title this year.
It'd be good for him.
What does it mean for, nobody's going to say he's.
All of a sudden, him versus Tatum, I guess, has to be an argument. If he wins the title,
it will be viewed as the ultimate sacrifice.
They would have beaten Tatum in the playoffs if Giannis carries the Bucks to the title.
The difference is Tatum, it would be their back-to-back championships. Yeah. The big 3 of Pierce, Allen, Garnett didn't do that. This would be, heck, Bird didn't. They didn't win back-to-back.
No, I understand that.
I'm not saying he'd be better than Bird.
The point I'm making is
something to think about.
For every single guy whose team has a legitimate chance to win the title and is the best player, if we play the what would a title mean for him game, the answer is a ton. The answer is an insane amount. For the Luka, for LeBron, for Steph. Steph, we're talking about he's better than Magic. Jokic, if coach gets fired, wins it, all of a sudden he's better than Shaq. So for all those guys winning the title,
it just feels like they're a lot closer than most of the teams.
Well, yeah, they're one of the favorites. But for Shea, if Shea wins it, does he supplant Tatum? No?
I'm not ready to break out my Celtics are obviously winning take, but
you just broke it out.
It's coming around the bend.
Okay, but just hold on, just real quick. But if by your own logic of
really,
when the Celtics win, people are gonna be like, "Of course they won. Look at this team. How many Hall of Famers does this team have on it right now? Is this even fair? Right. What's going on with the apron?
Can I say something?
Unfair super team.
Because I have thought the
Celtics
have the best path because so many of the true contenders or even fringe contenders in the West. The single least confident I have felt about the Celtics all year is this very moment, knowing this guy is.
Is Al Horford a Hall of Famer?
Wildes.
Is Drew Holiday a Hall of
Wildes,
Famer?
you are the boy
Is
who
Tatum
cried
a Hall of
wolf
Famer?
about
And then Jaylen Brown
Tatum
a Hall
and
of Famer?
Jalen will be
Like,
for
Tatum-
sure.
listen,
The other two are
Porzingis a Hall of Famer,
winning
got
Hall of
2 rings.
Famers.
No.
Like Horford and Drew they're winners. They'll be in because
They're in. Tatum's in.
Because they won.
Tatum, Brown, yes.
Tatum and Brown are in.
Yes, but
Okay, so they got
hold
4
on.
Hall of Famers.
Yes, got
People
it.
are going to be like, this is unfair.
Is this an all-time great team? If they win it, no, I don't think so.
4 Hall of Famers back-to-back in
hold on, but you're missing the point.
3 finals in 4 years?
Listen, maybe they will be.
I mean, they'll have the accolade. I just don't
Maybe
think
they
so.
will be, but what I am saying
I'm old
is
school.
Wildes has an unbelievable track record of feeling like it's so obvious this team is going to crush,
Bucks anyone,
and then that
Nuggets
team loses in
anyone?
round 2 in a crushing 7-game defeat.
Okay, thanks.
You're 2
You
for
may
2
have
with
just
that.
Yeah,
buried-
actually, I'm 3 for
You
3
may
'cause
have
I
just
believed in the
buried-
Chiefs.
No, that wasn't round 2.
Yeah, I believed in the Chiefs as well.
Yeah,
Got destroyed. Got crushed.
Wild-
You might have
I don't know
just
if you caught
buried
That's what I'm
them.
saying. He just buries it.
They
And
just got rolled.
Wild,
And I believed,
you know,
because I
Wild-
like the champion.
Nothing says Wild's been checkmated like when he all of a sudden conflates
Switches
basketball
sports.
and football commentary. And your takes with mine. But go ahead. Talk about how good that
I'm
Go
the
ahead and throw
only
the
one.
flowers at Nick now.
Well, everyone wants me to be negative. I don't want to be, okay? There's enough negativity in the world. Can't I just say, this is nice? And the West was, power-packed. It's so stacked. You got the Thunder setting records. Could you imagine the lowly Rockets? Oh, they'll be lucky to get the play-in. Nope, they're going to be the outright number 2 seed. Thanks to Şengün. Was he the biggest riser out of everyone in the entire NBA?
Cade, I think, but
Cade deserves it too.
Cade's right.
Cade played
Şengün's
great.
right there.
Elite company. Is he as good as Jokic and Giannis? No. Does he belong in the same breath of those guys? Well, 1,400 points, 750 rebounds.
Those other guys have 600 more points than him. Jokic has 300 more assists.
How long did it
One
take
guy's
you?
a top 20 all-time. These are top 25
How long did
all-time
it take
players.
you to figure out those
Brew,
numbers?
Brew,
So those
It
were
was a
the
tweet that I
only
saw.
3
Brew.
that made those
Two
numbers.
of these guys are top 25 all-time. The other guy used to be on Weird and Wonderful occasionally, and now he's in the same stat panel.
Brew, also, your eyes, I don't know if they're good enough. His little note line is Şengün also has 84 steals and 60 blocks.
Yeah, guess what?
Heavens to
He
Betsy.
can play a little bit of defense.
Oh,
they're the 2
my.
seed. They're the 2 seed. I don't know anyone cares. Dusty, I'm not done. I have another graphic. It's not that interesting. It's just stat panel. We could probably pass. Oh, yeah.
Since March 6th.
That's what he does pretty much.
What is this?
Throughout the
15
year.
and 2. It's really because they're 15 and 2.
Well, then
Those are basically his numbers for the year.
He's 15 and 2. What are the Lakers? Lakers beat the Thunder. We had a
This
parade.
is
here.
not tears.
Oh, hey, can we bring in the band that we had for the Super Bowl because the Lakers beat the Thunder? I raised my hand in the meeting, and I'm like, hey, by the way, the Rockets also beat the Thunder and kind of roughed them up like how the 49ers used to. And then you got to beat them afterwards. The Rockets were the ones roughing them up. No one cared. Didn't even make the show. In fact, when we did the Rocket story, guess what it was? A Warrior story.
Can I tell you something?
Number 2
What happened? This went from being friendly to
Can I-
I'm
hold
supposed to be positive.
Real quick, can I just tell you guys how Wild's brain works? Wilds has a stat in his brain. About 3 years ago, teams that play the Niners lose the next
I
week.
thought it was fascinating.
And he can't get over it.
I thought it was fascinating.
He brings it up. He just says as an aside, roughed him up like the 49ers, like the audience is going to be like, oh yeah, that 2021 Niners team. Nobody
if
knew
you
what
played the
you were
49ers,
talking about.
I think you were below 500 the next week.
Everyone lost. It wasn't below 500. Everyone lost.
It's an amazing
But
stat.
no one. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.